Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to do a silent walkthrough and side-by-side comparison of the Aleister Crowley Thoth tarot deck and the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema deck produced by Oliver St. John and the Ordo Astri. And at the end of the video I will do a small critique of the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema. Before I get into the silent walkthrough, I will explain a few things about the history, art, and mystery school symbolism of the esoteric Thelema deck. But before I do that, I just wanted to show everyone, this is the box the deck comes with. And it doesn't come with anything else. It doesn't even come with the pamphlet or booklet that most tarot decks come with to explain what the cards are for and what the meanings are, which is then substituted by Oliver St. John's book called The Egyptian Tarot of Thelema that is available on his website for purchase. And so that's definitely important to understand. So in this Aleister Crowley Thoth tarot deck, it's not entirely based on Egyptian Thelema. It incorporates a lot of those elements into the deck, but it includes a lot of other things. And so Oliver St. John wanted to produce a deck solely based on the Egyptian Thelema of that interpretation and school of thought. And so he decided to produce this deck right here. A couple of unique factors is that it includes the color correspondences of the Golden Dawn, and also it considers indigo as a possible fourth primary color. Indigo, purple, or sometimes called ultraviolet light of the 93 current, is very important as it is the color of Thelema and also Nuit. And so, as I previously stated, this tarot deck is incorporating elements of Thelema, but it incorporates a lot else. And this deck is only based on the Egyptian pantheon as considered to be a part of the Thelemic school of thought. And so I'm going to begin the silent walkthrough, but before I do, I'm actually going to explain the first two cards, and hopefully you'll see why as we go through them. So the first card is usually considered the Fool, but over here in the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema deck, it's called the Seer. That is because it has to do with true sight. Not only as a diviner, a person who can see the spiritual or the occult, but someone with clarity and insight. The words by Jesus, the eyes to see and the ears to hear, come to mind. Because it is someone who's operating from a perspective of clarity and insight as opposed to someone who is confused and unsure. So going on to the next card, we see that it is very different in name. So normally it's called the Magus, but over here we have the Ass. And so I wanted to quote directly from the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema book so that everyone would understand why Oliver St. John named the magician as the Ass. And so verbatim, Oliver St. John says, "Every magician is an ass because it requires a stubborn and rebellious nature at the outset of the initiatory path to become a seeker of truth." And I definitely think there is merit in that statement. Usually the phrase stubborn as an ass comes to mind. And so, as we can see, it's based on the Egyptian pantheon, so we'll keep going. But before I do that, I wanted to show everyone the background. Obviously, the backgrounds are based on each other, and at any point in time, you can pause the video and see the cards more close up. But I'm just going to go silent for a while as we flip through the entire tarot deck. So in the book, the Egyptian Tarot of Thelema, Oliver St. John explains why each card has a different name than the standard interpretation. But some of these are just the Egyptian versions of the tarot trump. Yeah, just the Egyptian versions. Although there are definitely some differences, which is the main reason why I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison, which I think is an excellent idea. I really like how vibrant some of these cards are. So, for example, this right here, Sokar, is just the Lord of Death in the Egyptian pantheon. So this is just keeping with the tradition. We have Set represents the adversary in the Egyptian pantheon. In my opinion, this is actually the best tower I've seen throughout any of the tarot decks that I've come across in my journey. In my opinion, this is one of the best cards I've ever seen. It's truly extremely beautiful. Yep. And then here we have the tetractys, except for it's not a tetractys. It's a it's got 5, so it's a pentactys. Sorry if my pronunciations are bad. And then we have the moon. Khonsu is the moon deity. Then we have the sun, obviously Ra. Then we have the Aeon in both decks. So in the Crowley deck, it's not called a king, it's called a knight. But over here we have the king. Then we have the queen, the prince, and finally the princess as the court cards. Then we get to the wands. Oliver St. John is actually very simple in his wands, so I will actually go through it very quickly. And when I said simple in his wands, what I meant is actually simple overall. Also very similar. Some of the names are the same, but some of them are different. And so we're at the Ten of Wands, onto the technically we're supposed to be on the Cups. Sorry, I apologize. Give me 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that. So back to the Cups. And so, like I was saying earlier, there's not that much difference in the Oliver St. John deck once you get past the Tarot Trumps. Once you get to the Court cards and the Ace through 10, they get pretty simple. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just thought it's important to mention that. So this one's called Loss, this one's called Disappointment. This one's called Debauch, this one's called Illusion. So on to the Swords. So we're at the last suit, the discs. And then finally, Ten of Discs, Wealth. And so, like, comment, subscribe for more content, as well as check out my other videos on philosophy, religion, anything esoteric, or anything in terms of pursuing education, such as history or the practice of law. So really quickly, I wanted to talk about the critique of the deck. And so I think the print quality is pretty good. Although it has these kind of like lines kind of going through it, you can see it. I don't think it necessarily impedes on the design of the card. I guess it really depends upon what angle of light you're looking at. But generally speaking, I think that the print quality is pretty good. The cards are very thin. They bend easily. Personally, I think the best card stock would be something like this. But they're nice, handheld, easy size to shuffle with. And the price of this deck is actually pretty expensive. It's something around $60, including shipping. But since it is a one-of-a-kind tarot deck, and it is for a specific purpose with a specific target audience, and that being Thelemites, this is not really for just your average person. It's really specific to those people who are practicing Thelema, whether it be Oliver St. John Zoroastrian Mystery School, or just another brand of Thelema. It's mainly for ritual magic, meditation, and obviously divination, as that's really what the tarot is for. The price of the book is $42 online right now, and so if you buy both, it's around $105, $110. But the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to read from the book, just so that you guys could have an example of what the book says about one of the cards. And the card that I chose to read about is the High Priestess. And so this will just be the first couple of chapters, first couple of paragraphs from the chapter on the High Priestess. Oliver St. John begins by saying, "The trump for the 13th path of the moon is the priestess." Number 2 trump. Gimel, a camel, is the letter of the path, which runs from Keter to Tifereth on the middle pillar of equilibrium. The esoteric title is the priestess of the silver star, written in hieroglyphics at the top of the picture. So right here, these hieroglyphics, it says priestess of the silver star. The priestess is shown standing between two pillars of the temple, surmounted with flowering lotuses to show fecundity and life. She has arisen from the throne of Isis, the foundation or seat of the cosmos, stirred from latency to activity through the awakened serpent power. Her figure and arms, upraised in simultaneous invocation and evocation, express the lunar form. Her face and body are effulgent with the silvery moonglow or magnetism of the path. She is, in truth, the mystery veiled or concealed by this light, and by all light, for she is the soul of the eternal. She wears the knotted cord of Isis about her waist, denoting noble office. In some versions of the card, she is named the High Priestess. The cord is suggestive of the Ankh of Life, and also the crossing that symbolizes justification or resurrection of the soul to the immortal realm. Her only ornament is the double collar worn about her neck, and this is to emphasize the larynx as the organ of utterance that also corresponds to Da'ath, the sphere of knowledge, that the 13th path intercepts. Indeed, in some respects, the 13th path is the sphere of Da'ath, though Da'ath is not a Sephirah. The uniting intelligence, which is the title of the 13th path, provides a key to this. The true nature of Keter is love, the uniting principle, period. Da'ath is the magical means by which the tree of life comes forth from the tree of life, the gods are sprung. So that wraps up this video. I'd just like to reiterate that this is a one-of-a-kind deck, as it incorporates certain aspects of sacred geometry, the Egyptian netters, the esoteric Thelema tradition, as well as it has a lot of very vibrant colors, and there isn't another tarot deck out there. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in esoteric Thelema, check out the Babylon Unveiled podcast, the Ordo-Astri website, as well as any other associated books or materials published by them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.